all their ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord, and depart from evil. It shall be health to thy navel, and marrow to thy bones. Honor the Lord with thy substance, and with the first fruits of all thine increase. So shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy presses shall burst out with new wine. I have read for you Proverbs, the 3rd chapter, the 5th to the 10th verse. May the Lord add a blessing to his holy and sanctified word. Next, we will have an invocation by Marcus Gordon, followed by the greetings by Sean Irvin.
Let us pray. Almighty God, our Father, it is once more that a few of your beloved children are gathered to call upon your holy name. We bow at your footstool to thank you for our spared lives. We thank you that we were able to get up this morning clothed in our right mind. Through your goodness and mercy, we were able to assemble ourselves for this evening to move forward in life. Throw around us your strong arms of protection and bind us together in love and unity. Build us where we are torn down and strengthen us where we are weak. Please, Lord, watch over all of us this evening and everybody every day to follow. We ask you, Lord, not to just watch over the people gathered here, but also those who had the will to make it, but lacked the way to do it. Lastly, Lord, protect us from the evils and temptations that tend to entrap the soul. All we ask for is your love, protection, and guidance as we journey through our lives. In your name we pray. Amen.
Teachers, parents, friends, and distinguished guests. On behalf of the senior class of Cumberland High School, I would like to welcome you to the baccalaureate services for this evening. Many students have put forth a great deal of effort in organizing baccalaureate, and we hope that all of you will find something beneficial in this service, whatever your belief may be.
Now we will have a few selections. We will now have the introduction of the speaker by Steve Train.
Reverend Donald Lawrence Trent Sr. is a native of Cumberland County, Virginia. He attended the public schools of Cumberland and graduated from Luther P. Jackson High School. After graduation, he served 2 years in the United States Army. Reverend Trent holds a Bachelor of Theology and a Bachelor of Arts degree from the Richmond, Virginia Seminary. He is currently pastor of the Second Union Baptist Church in Cumberland, Virginia, where he has served for 20 years. Reverend Trent is past president of the Baptist Ministers Conference of Cumberland County and served as treasurer of the Slate River Baptist District Association. He is past president of the Beulah Baptist Sunday School Convention and a member of the Cottesville Medical Center Board of Directors. He has traveled extensively preaching the gospel and conducting revivals. He is married to the former Gloria Jean Morris. They are the proud parents of 2 sons, Donald Jr. and yours truly, and 1 daughter, Matisa. Fellow classmates, faculty, and staff, parents and friends, I present to you my father, the Reverend Donald L. Trent Sr.
members of the faculty, staff, parents, friends, and last but not least, to the graduating class of 1993, good evening. I am delighted and honored to have this privilege to share with you in this great celebration at this special time in your life. After receiving the invitation to deliver the baccalaureate address, I spent many days, many weeks praying and meditating on just what to bring you this evening. I would like to share with you a word from the Lord from the Gospel of Luke, the 10th chapter and the 30th verse. A certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among thieves, which stripped him of his raiment and wounded him and departed, leaving him half dead. From this verse of scripture, I have chosen for a theme, the road not taken. The road not taken. There comes a time in each and every individual's life when he or she is called upon to make certain decisions. Tonight, June 17th, 1993, you, the graduates, have a decision to make. For the last 17 or 18 years, your parents have been making decisions for you. Tonight, here you are at the fork in the road. Those of you who drive a car know what happens when you come to a stop where two roads meet or cross. You must decide which road will take you where you want to go. That's the way it is in life. You must choose which road you will take and consider where it will lead you. Graduates, there are two roads now before you. There is the Jerusalem road and there is the Jericho road. The Jerusalem road, not taken by many of our young men and women, is the road that will lead you to success, prosperity, greater opportunities, and happiness. However, the Jerusalem road is an uphill climb. On this road, your goals and dreams will not be reached overnight. Too many of our young men and women refuse this road because it requires hard work, personal and financial sacrifices, studying long hours, and denying self in hope of achieving a better tomorrow. Traveling this road, you may experience some restless nights, some heartaches, and shedding of a few tears. But the reward for traveling this road is priceless and timeless. And when you have completed your travel, the crown of success awaits you. Then there is the Jericho road, taken by thousands of our young people. This road is deceptively dangerous, offering short-term gains and prosperity. who will strip you of your current accomplishments, thieves in the form of attractive men and women, legitimate appearing business associates, drug abusers, and others, will seriously jeopardize or destroy your hopes and dreams. Finally, unwelcome travelers along this road have endured physical pain, sickness, death of loved ones and themselves. Young people, tonight you have a decision to make. Will you choose the road not taken by many, the Jerusalem road, or will you choose the Jericho road? I dare you tonight to choose the road not taken by many, the Jerusalem road. In our society, you will come to one fork after another. These forks will require you to make far-reaching decisions. Tonight is such a fork. You may choose a career among the sciences, the arts, the military, or business. Each of you must decide for yourself which way you will go from here. This initial course will very likely govern the rest of your life. Again, I ask, which road will you take? Remember, young men and women, no one can make a choice for someone else. Tonight, you must begin to act independently and begin assuming the responsibilities and accepting the consequences for traveling the chosen road. Graduates, you will have to rely much upon your own experiences in choosing the road not taken by many, the Jerusalem road. May I suggest to you to give Christ the opportunity to help you make the right decisions. As you leave here tonight, facing the uncertainties of life, there will be days of waiting and days of trials, days of beauty and days of peace, days of radiance and days of joy. Consequently, you will need to turn to someone who knows all. You will need to turn to someone who is omniscient, and he is Christ. As I close tonight, I challenge you to reflect on a poem by a very famous author, Helen Steiner Rice. Climb till your dream comes true. Often your tasks will be many and more than you think you can do. Often the road will be rugged and the hills insurmountable too. But always remember the hills ahead are never as steep as they seem. And with faith in your heart, start upward and climb till you reach your dream. For nothing in life that is worthy is ever too hard to achieve if you have the courage to try it and you have the faith to believe. For faith is a force that is greater than knowledge or power or skill, and many defeats turn to triumph if you trust in your wisdom and will. For faith is a mover of mountains. There's nothing that you cannot do. So start out today with faith in your heart and climb till your dream comes true. May God ever bless you.
We're not having a benediction by Melita Robinson.
First of all, I would like to thank you all for attending our baccalaureate And now I would like to ask if you would please stand for a word of prayer. God, I would like to thank you for watching over us these past 13 years, and I ask that you watch over us in the future. May the grace of God rest, rule, and abide with us, hence now and forevermore. Amen.
Hi. Yes, I'll come to see him almost every day at Hampton, Sydney. So I'll be bugging you. I'll see you later, Charlene. See ya.
Actually, you're supposed to have 13 loops before the rapid goes through. There's not enough room.
But it's smaller, so.
Next year I'll be in one of these stupid gowns.
Our lovely model Vanna models off the program.
Yeah, I'm the model.
Oh, I don't care.
Actually, you can put it on and have like the matching ones in the ends.
Whatever floats your boat. Gotta get all comfortable. Okay.
Go for it. Wow.
Just like teach ones, brother and sister, Kate and sister. Go ahead.
That's our last picture. Cool, you know, finger from stairs. Come in. It's putting this on your hat, that's all.
Hey.
Actually, you can put nice on your finger.
I got a little yellow
That thing's
cord.
weighing him down.
A tie.
Sunglasses.
I have a Mountain Dew. I have the smartest thing.
That's the real reason I don't even hear shit.
Yeah, I just come for, you know, just for the thrill, you know. No, come for my boyfriend. Of course you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Aw.
Graduation ceremony honoring the 1993 graduates of Cumberland High School. I'm the school's principal, Steve DeMett. Before the program begins, I want to ask for your help and cooperation in making this year's graduation a positive, dignified event which everyone will remember with pride. In that regard, the fire marshal requires that all aisles be kept clear. So others can see, please take photographs from your seat and videotape from the rear of the auditorium. So everyone can hear each graduate's name called to receive his or her diploma, please hold your applause till the end and wait to leave the auditorium after all the graduates have left to go outside where they will receive family and friends. Again, as earlier, child care is available in room 026 at the back of the building, which is accessible through the door here and down the stairs. If you need help for any reason, please see an usher. We'll begin the ceremony in a few minutes. Thank you.
A message from a friend. If ever I need to talk, to share a laugh, to be comforted or just to be reassured, or just to be understood, I remember your shoulder was there for my head, and my secrets were sacred, and your door was always open. I will remember you today, tomorrow, and forever. Thank you.
Parents, teachers, administrators, fellow classmates, and distinguished guests. We have finally made it to our high school graduation. The road has not always been easy, but tonight we reach one of our major goals. What will we remember about our school days at Cumberland? The lunches, the disagreements, the bus rides, or the special events. Surely, we will remember the friendships formed and the growing up we have done in spending 13 years together, and I trust we will remain close to each other. Hopefully, we will plan reunions to reminisce about our school days and compare our accomplishments. In my opinion, this graduating class of 1993 exemplifies the purpose of making a quilt, unity. As a union, we have accomplished the intricate task of taking tests, exams, and completing research papers. Our unity has permitted us to attempt things undreamed of, to reach goals that we once thought impossible, and to overcome situations which threatened to foil our decisions. quilt is priceless, something to be treasured. We all will agree that our senior year was nowhere near priceless, but graduation is something we will always treasure. Many hands have helped to piece our quilt together. The patterns and the colors of our quilt represent all the hard work and determination demonstrated by us, graduates, throughout our past 13 years. In the pattern of our years together, vivid colors dominate our quilt. Mournful experiences such as the loss of a classmate and a young former teacher are represented by darker colors. The vibrant colors in our quilt represent our most memorable events and hopes for the future. As a whole, we have experienced some blissful moments such as the success of sports teams in state championships, preparations for the prom, and traveling on field trips. Many people in this graduating class went to see the movie Summersby, which was not only filmed in the area, but also had one graduating senior as an extra. A couple of us have been fortunate enough to travel abroad to explore foreign countries. A few of us will never forget the exciting band trips and the challenging academic competitions. There are some whimsical patterns and shapes in our class quilt. During our years together, many fads have come and gone. Numerous clothing fads, such as wearing starter jackets, wearing pants that hang way down, and sporting the country western look, have dominated our scene. There have also been many music crazes, such as country, rap, and heavy metal, which have occasionally affected our thinking and attitudes. I'm sure that everyone will not be able to forget having to do their first dissection in biology class, having to do their first geometry proof, and even reading Beowulf in English. One of our major challenges during our high school years has been doing our first research paper in English. A very memorable event for each one of us was when the school was set on fire 3 years ago. Many of us also remember getting our driver's license, being drenched at our raining homecoming last October, and taking senior pictures. Teachers have helped to piece the 1993 quilt. They have influenced each one of us, either seriously by their teaching methods or humorously by funny expressions, such as a teacher saying that she would hop over there, or another teacher saying to remember that his dog's name was Fred because it might come up on a test. Even though we may think we have acquired all there is to achieve, another goal should always exist. Fellow graduates, it is not over yet. As a matter of fact, we have only just begun. A memorable graduation is just another step on our ladder of success. There is so much more to look forward to in life. Some of us may believe that graduation is only another door closed, but actually we have accomplished closing one door just to open another. After today, we will all go our separate ways, whether it is furthering our education in college, entering the workforce, or going into the military. Special times and special places, special friends together, the moments pass so quickly, but the memories last forever. Good luck. Thank you.
distinguished guests, thank you for being here tonight. I want especially to thank our parents and teachers who have supported us for the past 13 years. I would like to start by saying that a lot of people wanted me to come up here and make fun of Cumberland High School, but I believe that this is neither the time nor the place for that. Cumberland has its faults, no one will deny that, but we, the graduating class of 1993, have overcome the negative experiences to capitalize on our positive ones. Each individual controls his fate. Whether or not one succeeds depends on the individual, not his surroundings. Every one of us has the power to rise and excel, and we have proven this by graduating from high school. As we move into the real world, I hope that each of us continue to succeed. I challenge each member of the graduating class to keep growing, mentally, socially, physically, and spiritually. We will shape our future. We have been told that we are America's future. Tonight, perhaps, we should say, we are America, and we will do our part to keep her strong. Whether we go to college, enter the workforce, or join the military, we must strive to improve ourselves, our community, and our world. We have the power to do what we choose with our lives, and I sincerely hope that we all do our best. In closing, I would like to paraphrase Longfellow. Look not mournfully into the past. It comes not back again. Wisely improve the present. It is thine. Go forth to meet the shadowy future without fear and with a brave heart. Thank you, and God bless.
Administration, faculty, parents, fellow graduates, and distinguished guests, good evening. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the guest speaker of the commencement exercise of the class of 1993. The renowned speaker has addressed hundreds of groups of VCU alumni, fans, and students, and he has made a positive impression on the local citizenry. The voice that you eagerly anticipate is a voice of keen knowledge and superiority, which has caught the attention of individuals who are fortunate enough to perceive it. Mr. Charles Hughes Smith is a native of Roan Mountain, Tennessee, which is located near the border of Virginia and Tennessee. He is the husband of Ms. Janice Schaefer and both share the responsibility of their two children, Steve and Sherry Wood. During the year of 1958, Mr. Smith earned a bachelor's degree in education from Milligan, where he was a two-time all-conference pick for his accomplishment as a collegiate basketball player. Following graduation, he coached in the high school ranks in Virginia, North Carolina, Kentucky, and Indiana for 11 years before moving to the collegiate level in 1969. He worked as an assistant coach at William & Mary for one season and at Pepperdine for 1 year before becoming an assistant coach at Virginia Tech from 1971 to 1976. Serving as Coach Don DeVoe's right-hand man, the Hokies won the 1973 NIT and earned an NCAA tournament bid in 1976. Smith spent 2 years as a head coach at East Tennessee State, where he turned a losing program into a winning one in just 1 year. After this great accomplishment, he was voted the Ohio Valley Conference Coach of the Year in 1978, and the Buccaneers were the Ohio Valley co-champions. Prior to coming to VCU a year ago, Smith served as the head coach at Auburn for 11 years. 5 of his last 6 Tiger teams advanced to the NCAA tournament. No Auburn team had ever earned an NCAA tournament bid prior to his arrival on the scene. Coach Smith was voted the SEC Coach of the Year in 1984 and again in 1988. Smith is an innovative offensive coach whose basketball philosophy simply states to shoot it quick before you throw it away. The strategy in his game plan evolves around his basketball theory, which implies to have all 5 players foul at once, since the officials can only call one of them. The validity in his theory remains to be seen, but Coach Smith has tutored such players as Charles Barkley and Chuck Person. Throughout his coaching career, 13 of his players have been drafted into the NBA, including 3 first-round picks of Chris Morris, Chuck Person, and Charles Barkley. As the head coach at VCU, Smith has somewhat projected a country boy image. However, Smith confided to Ram fans that he was 12 years old before he realized that his name was indeed Wood. Whether or not his country boy image belongs on the campus of an urban university or the cornfields remains to be seen.
Nevertheless, Coach Smith has played a tremendous role in the success of many teams. Through the eyes of such an accomplished person, one basketball proverb is evident. Tricky plays don't win basketball games. Tricky players do. So without further ado, I introduce to you the speaker of the evening, Mr. Charles Hughes Smith, also known as Coach Sonny Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm from Roan Mountain, Tennessee. I know you've heard of it. It's not the end of the world, but you can see it from there. I was 6 years old before I realized my name wasn't Get Wood. I was 11 years old before I realized my name, Hand-Me-Downs wasn't a brand name. But on a day in 1973, St. Patrick's Day to be exact, about 4:10 in the afternoon, I was looking up at the scoreboard in Madison Square Garden. The team that I was coaching had just won a national championship. I was standing there hugging a guy from Alta Vista, Virginia, and a young man from West Point, Virginia. Two very small towns here in the state of Virginia, and I looked at both of them and I thought to myself, anybody can do it. Anybody can go to the top of a mountain. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what you've done. Anybody can go to the top of a mountain. Many years later, I was standing in the Summit, one of the great arenas in Houston, Texas. A team that I was coaching had just been defeated by Louisville on a last-second shot by Purvis Ellison to go to the Final Four, eventually winning the national championship. One of my worst defeats, and I felt the worst I had ever felt. It shows you the profession that I'm in is peaks and valleys. It reminds me of a song. An old missionary preacher had spent his life working in a foreign country for his Lord. It was time for him to come home to retirement. On the ship coming across, he had to sit over in the corner by himself. He was on a ship with a very famous celebrity who was wined and dined all the way across on the trip. The old missionary preacher couldn't wait to get to New York, to go down that gangplank and meet family and friends. When he got down to the bottom of the gangplank, there wasn't a soul there to meet him. He looked up at the heavens and he said, Lord, I've spent my life working for you, and when I come home to retirement, there's no one here to meet me. There was a moment of silence, and then a loud, booming voice comes down from up in the cloud saying, my son, you're not home yet. So I would like to say to you young people sitting out there, this is not an end. Because you have graduated, because you're ready to go out and take on the world, this is not an end. It is a beginning. And the way you approach it, the way you approach the peaks, the way you approach the valleys is going to determine how successful you can be. I sat for years as a high school coach wishing that I could win a national championship. We turned that wish into a fact. I spent my life dreaming of having a player like Charles Barkley and develop him into the most valuable player in the NBA. We changed that dream into a reality. Why did I do it? Why did we do it? Because my desire was much greater than any obstacle that could have been in my way. Your desire is one of the greatest motivators of mankind, ladies and gentlemen. If you use that to go to the top of a mountain, nobody can stop you. You'll end up in the valley every once in a while, but you can go right back to the top of a mountain. How do you do it? By being able to motivate yourself. Personal motivation is the key to success. You shouldn't even sit there and expect a person like me to push a button for you. You got to push your own button. And the way you do that is to be organized. Get yourself organized. Make lists. Formulate a plan. Do it in your mind. Know what you want to be. Organization, I'm going to give you an example of organization being one of the key words in your life. A little girl lived in a small, this is another song. There's so many great messages in songs. A little girl lived in a small Kansas wheat village. She was the most loved little girl in this community. She would go away from home at night and have meals with everyone, and her family didn't care because they knew that everybody loved Jenny, everybody would bring Jenny home. One night Jenny went away from home and she didn't return. 11 o'clock came, 12 o'clock came. All of a sudden they panicked. They started calling around. Nobody could find Jenny. They start running in all directions, totally disorganized, trying to find Jenny. They worked all night. Nobody could find Jenny. This goes on for 24 hours, and finally they decided to go to a meeting hall and have a meeting and get organized. An old lady that had been a member of her community all of her life. Nobody would take charge of the meeting, so she stands up and slams her fist down and says, "Now wait a minute. We're going to walk outside this meeting hall. We're going to make a line of people as far as we can see. We're going to reach down and clasp hands. We'll be together. We'll be organized. We're going to walk through these wheat fields, and we're going to find Jenny in a matter of hours." They went outside. They made the line. They joined hands. They were organized. They walked through the wheat fields. They found Jenny in 45 minutes. There was only one problem. Little Jenny was dead. After the funeral, they went back to the town meeting hall. They had another meeting. The old lady got up and she spoke for a second time. She says, "You know something? Little Jenny would be alive today had we just joined hands just a little bit sooner." So don't wait, young people. Don't wait to get your life organized. Some of the things that'll get you organized. Have the courage to try something. Have the courage to do what you want to do, no matter how long it takes. Approach your life with enthusiasm. Great enthusiasm will overcome weaknesses you wouldn't believe. You don't need a lot of skill, but you got to have a little bit. But one thing that you must have. Listen to me talk. Would you think that I've passed English in 2 or 3 states? I failed it in 2 or 3 states, but you know something. I don't mind getting up in front of this group because I have confidence. If you have confidence, you can go and do exactly what you want to. Confidence stimulates your imagination. You keep your imagination and you let it be stimulated all the time so that your confidence will grow higher and higher and higher. Let me tell you what I do when I slide a little bit. I do a self-evaluation. I evaluate myself in these areas, and it might help you. I evaluate myself physically. Am I working out enough? Am I in shape? I evaluate myself spiritually. I evaluate myself mentally. I evaluate myself financially. I evaluate myself socially. I evaluate myself from a home and family standpoint. Young people, you are always formulating opinions about your parents. I was a coach that has averaged through 17 years of college coaching, 259 nights a year on the road. Never seeing my children grow up, never being a part of their life. If I had one thing to do over, I would go back and do that. And I'm going to tell you a story when you get into a position where children will be yours, and that's one of the next stages that you must think about. A man had spent all of his life working hard, and the minute he would come home from work, he would go directly to a flower garden, ignoring his family, ignoring his wife. He produced in this flower garden one of the biggest roses that's ever been. He was going to enter it in the state competition, win the biggest prize that's ever been won. He got it ready, totally ignoring the family for months at a time. He was sitting home the night before the competition that he was supposed to enter. Into the room walks this man's young son carrying the prize rose that he was going to enter in the state competition. He didn't have this rose by the petal. He had it by the stem. He had it by the petals. And he had crushed it up something fierce. He drew back his fist and he started to hit the little boy. Right before he hit him, the little boy looked up at him and said, "Dad, I am giving you this rose because I love you." The fist unclenched. The veins went down in the neck. He reached down, he grabbed the little boy, he pulled him up to his chest. He said, "Thank you very much, son, because I love you too." The next day, in that pot that was supposed to occupy the prize rose was a stick. On top of that stick was a picture of this man's young son. Written across the top of that picture were these words: "I am entering in this flower show the flower of my life." He didn't win that big trophy, that big gold medal that he came to win, but he won a special award. So evaluate yourself, young people, when the time comes. Evaluate yourself in a home and family situation. Now I'm going to give you a song now. The guy couldn't sing dead in a cowboy show, but he sold 1 million records because of the message that he had. I'm going to throw this song out. Don't you say anything, but kind of let me know if you ever heard this song. Be happy, don't worry. That guy couldn't sing dead in a cowboy show, but you think of that song. People that are happy are people that are achieving challenging goals. People that are worrying are people that are worrying about 92% of the things that they don't even have control over. So if you're going to go to the top of a mountain, you be happy, you stop worrying. And you strive to go where you don't let anything stop you now. I'm telling you, don't let anything stop you. Knock you back down, get up and go again. Because in this country, the way things are today, you're going to get knocked down a couple of times. The people that get up are the people that's going to go to the top of the mountain. And the last thing, whatever you approach, whatever you're going to do with your life, you approach it with this word: pride. Have a great deal of pride in everything you do, yourself, your country, your church, your appearance. I'm going to tell you when pride became one of the biggest factors in my life, and I carry it with me every day because of this. I was a basketball coach at Pepperdine University in Los Angeles, California. I was walking across the campus in 1969. This was back in the days when they was having a lot of student unrest on campuses around the country. A young lady was walking in front of me wearing a pair of blue jeans. They weren't even fashionable in those days. Sewed to the seat of her blue jeans was the American flag. I looked at her and I said, "She's not an athlete," because an athlete wouldn't do something like that, because I had that much pride in what I was doing. I went home that night to my home in Redondo Beach, California. I was watching a news program from Berkeley, California, this University of California campus in Berkeley. The students were having an uprising. A young man scaled up a flagpole with a torch in his hand, lit fire to the American flag. 15,000 students cheered. I said to myself, he's not an athlete, there's not an athlete in that crowd, because I had so much pride in my profession. I went home one day from my basketball practice at East Tennessee State in Johnson City, Tennessee. I was watching a baseball game on television. The Pittsburgh Pirates were playing the Chicago Cubs. A young man jumped out of the stands, pulling a young boy with him. He went running out into the middle of the outfield. He pulled a flag out and he held it up. 36,000 people in Wrigley Field went crazy. They thought he was patriotic. He turned the flag back around and held it down to this young man. It happened to be his son. He lit fire. to the bottom of the flag. The right fielder for the Chicago Cubs is a man named Rick Mundy. Later to play for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Later goes to the top of that mountain by hitting a home run to win the World Series. He comes running along. He grabs this burning flag out of this man's hand, and he put out the flame with his bare hands. My first thought, he's an athlete, because an athlete would do something like that. You take pride in what you choose to do, and you work to go as high as you possibly can in it, and you keep evaluating yourself. And one thing, ladies and gentlemen, for everybody in this room, not these young people that are so fortunate to graduate tonight, remember this, one of the most important things in your life is your reputation. Think about how long it takes you to build up a reputation. It takes you forever to build up a reputation. It takes you 30 seconds to lose it. Be very aware of who you are and what you are, and realize that it only comes from personal motivation. I wish for you everything that is good in this country or wherever you may be. Thank you very much for having me tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Before I go on introducing the students who have received special awards of recognition, I'd like to recognize some of our faculty out here in the audience tonight, Mr. Nygaard, Mr. Hess, Mrs. Southall, Ms. Bright, Ms. Anderson, and Ms. Tillerson. Also want to thank the senior class sponsors for helping the senior class put together a fine commencement program. And of course, I'd like to recognize our other honored guests here on the stage. The first award is the Lavinia Sims Memorial Scholarship. That scholarship is given to graduates planning on continuing their education at a Virginia college or university. Miss Sims was a student at Cumberland High School, and this scholarship is given in her memory by her family. This year, the recipients are, if they would come forward to receive their award, Miss Carol Reed, Miss Shirlene Tyree, Miss Diane Schimber, and Mr. Steve Randolph. Subordinate Tent number 760, United Order of Tents, is pleased to award a scholarship this year to a graduating senior who is continuing his education. The award goes to Mr. Marcus Morton. The 1992 graduating class of Cumberland High School left a scholarship to be awarded to a member of the 93 graduating class who is continuing his or her education next school year. This award is presented to Mr. David Meinhardt, Jr. organization. Each year they provide scholarships for students who have contributed in some manner to the school and community and plan on continuing their education. This year the Key Club is proud to award scholarships to 3 students. And if they would each come forward as I call their name. Miss Terrell Reed. Mr. Hishorn Finley. And the third goes to Mr. Steve Randolph. Cumberland's Women's Club is pleased to award a scholarship to a Cumberland High School graduate planning on continuing his or her education at a 4-year college. This year, the scholarship is given to Miss Diane Schimmer. The Young Men's Social Club is pleased to award 2 scholarships to members of the 1993 graduating class who will be continuing their education. These awards go to Mr. Hishorn Finley. The second Young Men's Social Club award goes to Mr. Steve Randolph. The Cumberland County branch of the NAACP wishes to present this year's Christopher J. Reed Scholarship in the amount of $300 to Ms. Terrell Reed. The Cumberland County Historical Society sponsored a historical essay contest for members of this year's graduating class. The purpose of the contest was to promote interest in the history of Cumberland County among young people by awarding a financial award for a prize-winning essay on a topic of county history. The winning essay, 5 Cumberland Taverns, was submitted by Candy Salone. A scholarship award of $500 was presented to Candy for this prize-winning essay. The Historical Society recognizes the outstanding work by all those submitting essays and hopes they will continue their interest in county history. Ms. Candy Salone, would you please come forward? The David Goodman Scholarship Fund was established in 1976 through the joint efforts of the National Honor Society and the Goodman family in honor of David Goodman, who was a Cumberland High School student. Through the years, contributions to the fund have been made by some organizations and individuals within the county. This year's scholarship award goes to Mr. John Glenn. Each year, Southside Virginia Community College awards a scholarship to a Cumberland High School graduate planning to attend the community college during the 93-94 school year. This one-year, $1,000 scholarship is awarded to Mr. James Hobble. Cumberland High School is pleased to announce the recipient of the Benjamin Banneker Scholarship from the University of Maryland. The scholarship is given to this young man for his extraordinary academic accomplishments in high school and will provide him with 100% tuition, room, board, and books for the next 4 years of his education. Congratulations to Mr. Elmas Mosby. My next responsibility is to announce the top 10 graduates of the class of 1993. We'll start with number 10 and work up to number 1. And if each of those 10 would stand as I call their name, and if the audience will hold their applause to announce all 10, I'd appreciate it. Mr. Steve Randolph. Shirlene Tyree. Elmas Mosby Jr. David Meinhard Jr. Hishorn Finley. Terrell Reed. James Hobble. John Glenn. Diane Schimber. Diane is the class's salutatorian. And Mr. Andy Plumley, the valedictorian. The names of these 10 graduates will be honored on our plaque, which is on display in our school's office, and will be there forever. Thank you.
At this time, diplomas will be presented to the graduating class. Virginia Jean Daly. Edward Solomon Bati. Cindy Lou Berger. Cassandra Berger. Gina Elizabeth Brooks. Fancy Leon Brown. Regina Inez Brown. William Henry Brown Jr. Kevin Woodrow Chapman. Ryan Douglas Chick. Jonathan Paul Clark.
Gregory Scott Collins. Cartisha Sanique Copeland. Rodney Wayne Couch. Altavise Avenay Evans. Hassan Jarrell Finley. Nakia Sharia Finley. Kia Tamara. Michael Edward Gilliam. John Ashby Glenn. James Elliott Harbour. Dennis Holman. Sean Robert Irvin. Carl Benito Jackson. Lamont Abdul Johnson. Saloma Francis Johnson. Anna Lee. Juan Alexa Matthews. David Edwin Meinhardt Jr. Richard Thomas Miller Jr. Karina Faye Mobley. Samuel Lee Monroe Jr. Marcus Antoine Mobley. Cindy LaShawn Mosley. Elvis Walter Mosley Jr. Alan Scott Newsom. Dennis Anthony Parker. Andy Stewart Plumley. Stephen Antoine Randolph. Terry Maria Reed. Terrell Janine Reed. Lolita Rochelle Robinson. Raymond Philip Scarborough III. Rebecca Louise Charlotte. Diane Marie Schindler. Ashley Adrian Schmidt. John Emmett Shawhan III. Candace Michelle Sloan. Chad Lee Sloan. Brian Dwayne Southall. Ryan Stewart Thompson. Danielle Sharia Timberlake. Steve Montello Trinity. Lacey Ernie Turney. Charlene Gladys Tyree. Angela Denise Wade. Darrell Keith Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to present to you the 1993 graduating class of Cumberland High School.
Before I accept these diplomas on behalf of the graduating class, I would just like to say that I wish each and every one of you good luck in the future. And if you don't remember anything else about Cumberland High School, just remember all of the good times that we have had as a class and as individuals. And now, on behalf of the 1993 graduating class of Cumberland High School, I proudly accept these diplomas.
After 13 years of hard work, from learning our ABCs with our kindergarten teachers to tackling Beowulf and Macbeth with Miss Jameson, we finally walked across the stage and proudly received our diplomas. It's been a long, hard journey that has seemed to have taken forever to complete. I think I speak for many of the members of the class of '93 when I say that I've looked forward to this day since I started school. But now that the day has come, I can't help but feel a little sad and scared. Sad because I know that I probably won't ever see some of my classmates again. And scared because this is our biggest step towards adulthood and a lot of responsibility. Overall, I believe the class of '93 should feel very proud. We've made it through all the hard times that comes with high school, and now it's time to show the world what we're capable of. So with that, the class of 1993 bids Cumberland High School farewell.